guys, it's Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. I'm messing around with some of the tech since I have not been on live in a bit, and so sorry about that. I have missed you guys. Today we're going to be doing an unboxing for the new May club kits. I do see that Kim in Alaska is in the chat. Welcome, honey. I think you can see me wave. Anyway, welcome and good morning, hon. I appreciate you being here. For some reason, some of my tech is just not wanting to function the way I'm wanting it to. So, anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and... Okay, message retracted. Not sure what that was about. But anyway, hello, and welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and flip the screen down to my desktop so that you guys can see my box. Okay, so this may just mean that I've got too many things on at the moment. Not sure exactly what is going on with that, but anyhow, we will move forward like usual. Hope you guys are all good being able to see me. Okay, let me go ahead and shut those down. And then shut these down. Sometimes if I have too many things on my computer at once running, that could cause some issues, and I don't want any issues. So anyway, this is what I received in the mail. What they do is they give me a lot of the samples so that I could do these videos and make some cards and all that fun stuff for you guys. And please forgive me for any of my coughing. I'm going to turn the volume down just a bit on my mic, so if it is too is not loud enough for you guys, let me know, please, please, please. Okay. Ah, goodness. Oh, this is why it's not wanting to work right. I scheduled this for 11 p.m. and it was supposed to be 11 a.m. I am so sorry, guys. That sometimes happens when I am trying to schedule things on my YouTube and it doesn't always want to work. So, okay, so Kim says it sounds fine. Thank you, ma'am. I thought I said 11 a.m. because I can't do anything at 11 p.m. I am asleep at night. So, anyway, this is my box. And I am going to get it out of the way now that you do see that it did come in a box and just go through some of the stuff that is in there, and then you guys can let me know what you want me to play with. I am going to move this around so I can see. Yeah, AM and PM will get me every time. Thank you so much, Miss Kim. Now I need to double check and make sure the one over on Facebook is working right, because that's one of the tech things I was working on, is I was trying to get it set up for for over on Facebook too. So good morning, Ms. Maureen, and of course Kim, who is with us right now. Awesomeness. Okay, now that one is working right. I've actually, like I said, I'm trying a couple of things, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to see the chat, and I can, which is awesome. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to look at is the embossing folder of the month. This one, I think it's kind of cool. Let me get out something so you'll be able to see it. This is just some magnets, because I'm going to put the die cuts and stuff on some magnets. And, of course, now you can't see it there either because it's too light. Okay, maybe we can see it. Maybe you can see it there. I'm not sure. Anyway, the embossed image on here is actually some stitches, so that looks kind of cool. We have the circle in the center, and then circles around it, and then little lines going out to the side, so it kind of gives the impression of some stitching, so I think that is cool. Good morning, Miss Diane Stricker. Welcome. The next one I'm going to show you guys is this one is the Stamp and Die of the Month. Now, I was not 100% sure how this was supposed to work, so I did have to cheat to go see, because it looked too simple, you know what I mean? It's like I looked at it, I think I knew what it meant, and then I thought, it's got to be something other than that. Okay, so first, you put it on the white so it's easier to see. So this is the stamp set. We've got these two little guys for putting floss on. So I think that is kind of cool. It's basically a little bobbin, a triangle. This kind of looks like an umbrella. But then we've got a couple of sentiments. One says together like needle and thread, stitch with love, and you have me in stitches. And then there's a couple of them that are numbers. Okay, so I was wondering, okay, like I said, it looks too simple. I have embroidery thread, so I recognize this because I've got some of those that I bought over at Michael's or Joann's or whatever. But what the heck is this thing? It's actually a color wheel. It's basically so that you could swatch out your colors of floss. I mean, you can stamp it down with some ink. That way you know what color is supposed to be there. But then you've got these dies that go along with it that give you a place to do some stitching. So I think that is kind of cool. Hello, Miss Edith from Texas. Welcome. So while I'm doing that, I'm also going to look down at my chat on Facebook. Usually there's not anything on Facebook because I don't really do a whole lot over there when it comes to the lives. So, and I did leave a link over on the one that I set up there to point you guys over here. So that way you guys can all chat and stuff because I love it when you guys are over here to chat with me. Okay, so the dies that come with this, first we've got one that is for our little our floss card, and it has a piece that cuts into it, so that's, you could use this like a real one. That is what I thought was so cool once I got a little bit of an idea. So you got the stamped one, so you could use embellishments, whatever, without having to actually put any thread on there, but you could use this as a real one and put thread on it, or put thread on it and put the whole thing on a card. So I think that is kind of cool. And then we've got, for, like I was saying, for the color wheel, you've got this die that puts some stitch holes at the top of each of the little places and goes into the center so that you can basically create a swatch card of all of your flosses. Now, I've got a ton. I've got a container that I'm going to have to get out, I'm sure, today to just be able to work with it. But some of that stuff is stuff that my mother had that I finally put on some clean, some clean little pieces so that it works better. And then we've got the little stamps that have that say number. So those are basically where you put it on your little thing to say what the number is from when you purchased your flosses. So I think that's kind of cool. This is really good for anybody who likes to do, that likes to do stitching on cards, cross stitch, embroidery, whatever. And then we've got our dies to cut out each of the little sentiments. So this is kind of cool, especially to give cards to folks that they like to do stitching on cards or any other kind of needlework. So I think that is pretty cool. And one other thing I want to make sure I have, when I'm doing my stitching on cards, just by the way, I normally use one of these little flossers. This is very flexible. This is basically for using on your teeth. And I have them specifically for doing any kind of stitching on a card because sometimes the needles are either going to be too big or too small. And it's harder to move around and everything because it is a piece of paper instead of, say, a piece of canvas that is stretched onto a ring. Sorry about the coughing, guys. I'm still not 100%, but I'm getting there. Maureen says that she's missed Kim. That is so sweet. Okay, let me get these out of the way. And, well, I'll just go ahead and get those out of the way. They're actually staying together. Now, going along with that stitched theme, here is another. This one is the die of the month. And this one, again, is perfect for stitching on a card. So, it says, it's got holes for your letters, so it says hello. And then each of the letters has got a little, basically an embossed pattern on there. So, I'm going to try to do them all basically face up. I can't do that. The L's have to be reversed. But anyway, it's still the same. And then we've got some pieces to be able to create a little flower. And they've all got the stitching holes. So if you guys can see that, it's all got the little stitching holes. Okay. Hello, Deja. Oh, Deja Benjamin and BJ Clark, and I know who that is. I'm trying to think. I've seen the name before. Remind me if I say, I think it is Deja actually that's in here with us. I don't think it's a BJ Clark, but you let me know what your name is and what you'd like us to call you in case I of course got it completely wrong. So this is pretty cool too. And it's a big enough set. I'm going to go ahead and just put it down on a magnet. That way I don't lose any of the pieces. And it's easier to see. I love being able to see everything that I've got going on. H-E-L-L-O. And I love that they gave you 2 of these. So you could basically dye everything out all at once. Okay, so there's that one. And that one was the die of the month. This one is the glimmer of the month. And the first thing I noticed when I looked at the bag is like, wait a minute, it's stitching, it's dies, come on. So let's take a look at what all is in this one. So we've got this nice big butterfly, and this one is a stitch die, so it's got the border to be able to cut out your butterfly, and it's got all the holes and everything for you to be able to stitch. Actually, yes, you can do the stitches. I have a feeling I would leave those as an accent. One of the things I like about the stitching dies is they basically give the look of like an eyelet. You know, I've got my oval ones. Hello, Miss Melissa. I've got my ovals, that oval stitch borders. I forgot what the thing is called, but I've got one of those that I absolutely love because it gives the look of eyelets all the way around your card. So it kind of looks like some of the old eyelet, not necessarily old, but I haven't worn anything like that since I was a kid, but it's got the eyelet style borders on there, so I think that's really cool. So we've got the butterfly, and then we've got a couple of butterfly wings. Let me make sure I'm putting these on here right. Of course not. Actually, it doesn't match completely. Okay. I think it's just multiples. So that's a big one, and then there's a little one. Okay, so that would go on one side. I think it's where you could cut it reversible. Then we've got the glimmer plates that you can use inside. Let me see if I have not opened this up before now, so I am basically experimenting now. They don't fit exactly, but I think that's kind of where that one goes. Unless, nope, it's this one. Okay, so those go there. And yes, I know I've got them facing down. Same thing on this side. Oh, this is pretty cool. So you can die cut and glimmer up your butterfly. Okay, there's that. Got some sentiments. And I'll look at those in a minute. We've got a couple of different middle pieces for your butterfly. Got more of these. So I guess it does go the other way around. Okay. And Daisha said, done did the thumbs up. Thank you so much, honey. Appreciate that. Okay, I think this one actually goes in there. There we go. Making sure I get them in the right spot so that they actually fit. Okay, so we've got all of those. Then we've got these little pieces. And these I can tell are definitely for stitching. So this is what I'm assuming. I have not used these. I have not tried them out. I'm thinking this could go in. So will that one fit in there? Okay, that one does not fit in that one, so it's probably for the other side. Let me just double check that. Perfect. So you can either use the glimmer or the dies to do some additional stitching. Good question, Kim. I haven't even attempted any of these yet. I hadn't even looked at it. I mean, I glanced and saw, okay, this one is the Glimmer set. Wait a minute, it's got all of these stitching pieces and, what? I hadn't actually opened it to see what anything looked like. I'm trying not to because I know me, I'll want to play it immediately. So I'm going to look at the sentiments now. We've got, you give me butterflies. Awesome. Celebrate you today. It's a new day and especially for you. So this is adorable. And this glimmer plate, this big one, has the die that works with it too. So, and of course we've got the antennas for our little butterfly. So what we've got here so far that I've gone over is we've got the outside piece for the butterfly that has some stitch detail there. We've got some glimmer. And, okay, I'm just looking at the screen wrong because I was scrolled down. Okay, we've got some glimmer lines that'll go inside the wings of the butterfly. Okay, we've got some other wings. So this one I think is for like a side view butterfly, and this one's a full frontal view. Then we've got these additional pieces. The additional pieces where you could add some additional stitching detailing. And again, Kim is saying today would be good for you. I'm not done going through all the stuff in the collection yet. Just wait, you may change your mind. I'll let you guys let me know later on in the video. Okay. There, now I can see the chat a little bit better. Okay, so we've got those. Then the one pieces that I hadn't even looked at yet, we've got these guys. Let go. And that one does not fit there. That's probably going to be the hardest part, is figuring out what fits where. These, it looks like, actually just cut out some additional little accent pieces on the inside. So you can have, yes, Maureen, roll on the floor laughing at Kim, absolutely. Okay, so this basically cuts out other pieces so that when you've got kind of that, I guess it makes me think of like stained glass. The stained glass kind of look in a lot of butterflies where they've got all these different, they've got the little veins and then they've got the different colors. And so that gives you an opportunity to do that. And it looks like we've got enough to do all of them. So of course I'm going to have to rearrange and everything so that I know what's what, because I'm going to get irritated with myself for not knowing this. This Glimmer of the Month set is mostly dies. I think that is just too cool. Okay, so what do we have next? Let's see, that one's die of the month. Okay, when I peeked in the box, this is the one I got the most tickled about. I mean, this I think is really cool. The butterfly is really cool, but I hadn't even looked at that. But as soon as I saw this, like, is that what I think it is? It's like, oh my God, I love it. This one is the Amazing Paper Grace. Now, you know, with the Amazing Paper Grace, they've got a lot of intricate dies. They do the 3D thing. This is another one of the 3D ones. And they do a lot of different designs. Like last month was the watering can that I thought was so cool. This one, okay, we've got, this is the side piece, I think. Oh no, that's not the side piece. That is the side piece. Here's the little piece that goes in there. You guys see what that is? This is a gas stove. And I'm thinking, oh my God, that is just too cool. So we've got, and it's one that I'm going to have to figure out how everything goes. I kind of have an idea for some of the pieces, but not for everything. So that is like the front. I think this is like an inner piece. So although I love the idea of this one, and I really want to do it, I'm thinking it may be better for me to wait until I can see the instructions. And Aggie is excited to get the Glimmer kit. Yes, the butterflies are just awesome. So, I'm kind of guessing where everything goes as I'm taking this out of the package. And again, I was good this month. I did not take anything out of the package beforehand. Oh, this is a cookie sheet. You see that? There's a cookie sheet. So we've got the burners and we've got a cookie sheet. This one, I think this goes like in the oven, so that's the grate for the oven. This one is like, I think, knobs. This one is like the background for our our burner there. And then we've got two different sentiments. One says, "What's bacon?" And then the other one says, "Hey, cookie." So I think this is pretty cool. Because I'm thinking mostly Halloween. I'm sorry. I'm thinking mostly Christmas for Christmas cookies, but that is going to be pretty cool. Next, and yes, final, but it's the big one. This is the Spellbinders Club Kits for them. This is the Spellbinders. My brain is not working, guys, completely. I'm sorry. I'm still getting over this cold. Apologizing for all of the coughing and all of that, but I definitely I get excited and I'm wanting to do some of these things. So anyway, this one is the card kit, and it is called Koala Smiles. So you can kind of guess a little bit about what's going to be in this. Okay, so first we've got our bag of ephemera, which I still have to put away last month, so I have space to put it. This one is a stamp set that has, it's got some nice sentiments in here. To a beautiful person, bunches of thanks, your thoughtfulness touched my heart, hugs and kisses, lovely birthday wishes. And then we've got this flower here, a flower bundle rather. We've got our our chipboard pieces, like normal. I like that. It's got a film strip in there too. That's kind of cool. Our tape and foam tape. Got a die set that I'm holding to the side for a moment. These are really pretty. So here's some sentiments that are a little puffed up. So, but they are glossy and everything. This one looks really pretty. Absolutely, Melissa. Melissa was wanting to know if I was going to recap when I'm done. Absolutely. Hello, Jim. And let me see if there's anybody else that I missed real quick. Okay, looks like foiling plates and which foiling machine is the best? I see that comment from Deja. Thank you, ma'am. You had asked that, and I do see some other folks basically answering the question for you. I actually have a foil. I have a Spellbinders machine. So I've got the Spellbinders hot foil glimmer machine, and then I've also got the Gemini foil press. The foil press, I noticed after the fact, well, actually, I've had it for a couple of years. I had it for about a year, and then it broke. If you look back at some of my older videos from like the beginning of 2021, you'll see, yeah, that it had a big crack in it, and I had to replace the platform because, of course, it wasn't under warranty anymore. Plus, since it is from the UK, it takes forever to get anything. So I just ordered a new platform for it from Amazon. Then recently I think it was probably about November, December, Christmas gift to myself, I went ahead and got the Spellbinders Glimmer System. Now what I'm noticing, the difference between the two, the Glimmer System, it looks like it goes hotter immediately. So the plastics that they use to create it with are able to withstand the heat of that. Every plastic's got its own melting point or cracking point in this case. So when I tried to use it using the other foils other than just the Gemini foils, which all require more heat, when I was doing that, I was getting the thing too hot, which means over time, the heating and cooling, although I didn't use it a lot, the heating and cooling caused the thing to crack. And it cracked bad. It was where it was basically busted. I mean, there was a gap about like that far, but there was a big gap there. Anyway, I actually haven't turned the thing back on since I got my Glimmer machine, and I've been loving my Glimmer machine. So the downside, another big difference between the two is that the Gemini system you can only use in the Gemini Junior. I think it might fit in the Gemini larger one, but it's made basically for the Gemini Junior. And the Spellbinders one you can use with pretty much all of the manual die cutting machines, because it has to do with the space between the rollers and how thick the platform is. So you just need to make sure that whichever one you decide to get, make sure to check on the website as to which machines it works with before you buy it. My mistake. I got the Gemini machine because it was cheaper, and then I had to buy the Gemini Junior anyway. And I did not realize that until after I got the machine. Okay, so let me go back down here. Maureen, yes, words are hard, of course. And Kim is absolutely right. The Glimmer, and I have not tried the Go Press and Foil. That one I think is also a UK machine. I'm not sure where it's made, but that one may be just as good. I have no idea. I have not tried that one. Hello, Mr. Jim. I think I already said hello. Aggie was wanting to ask Deja which die cutting machine she owns. That is the perfect question for figuring out which kind of platform you can use. And yes, Kim, it does warping. It warped like from day one, but it took about a year of off and on foiling to crack. And oh, I did not know that. Aggie says that there is also some speculation that the Gemini foil press may be discontinued with a new version. Now, if they decide to go with a better plastic, that would be awesome. Melissa has both of them too. Okay, so Deja said that she just got the Big Shot Plus. That one you should be able to use the the Spellbinders machine with. There is don't think I put a link to that one down below, but there are some affiliate links to other Spellbinders products down below, so you can click on that, find the machine, and I would love it if you went through my affiliate links. That definitely helps me to grow my channel and to buy all the fun crafty things that I need to get to be able to put some videos up for you guys. But it should work with the Spellbinders machine. So if that's the case, I would say go to the Spellbinders website, check out the foil press. Words getting jumbled, sorry. The Glimmer system, the Spellbinders Glimmer system, check that out. It has a list there of what machines it goes with, I believe. I'm pretty sure it does last time I checked. Okay. And I don't know if it works with the Cuttlebug or not, because it may also, again, be the spacing for that. Having the spacing that it takes to go through the machine. Okay, so it looks like I'm almost caught up. Deja says, thank you for all the suggestions. And Aggie says, what Melissa said. Okay, and I want to add one more thing on here, so give me just a second because I am irritated that I didn't do it already. I like being able to put you guys' comments up on the screen, and I didn't turn that on. So now I need to turn that on. It's this one, and it should just take me a sec to get that. Oh, come on, where is it? Come on, I want it to come up. Interact. It's not working. Okay, give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and just do it on the screen. So now you've got a black screen because I am trying to get this, and it's not working. Never mind. It is just not going to work. Oh, well, never mind. I will figure out what happened with that one. Okay, so now that we got through all of those, we've also got some super hot pink, kind of with a little bit of an orange tint of some sequins, our standard card bases, some cardstock. I'm sorry, the pattern paper looks like we've got some winds, and this one's got a map, and I know I'm going to be opening that up at some point, but depending on what you guys want me to make today, I may not be doing that one today. And then this, I got excited about this. We've got a bunch of letters. But it's all these different sentiments, and it's all in order so that you know exactly what it is. So, love you, hello, hi, happy, and then we've got additional D's. Oh, I just got this. D-A-Y, D-A-Y. So we've got happy birthday, enjoy, darling, thanks, smile. We've got you, always, lovely. So I'm loving that. I didn't even catch that they were basically in order the other way around. So that is kind of cool, too. Then we've got our cardstocks, which I love this stuff. I haven't gone through it as fast as I probably cause. that I possibly could, but I do definitely go through the mirror cardstock. I did ask when I was at Creativation whether or not it had metal on there, and Nicole said no, but I don't know. I really at some point have to ask. And then we've got these lovely pretty colors. I love that they included this gray, and I'm going to show you why in just a minute because that is too cool. Okay, so now for the dies. Let me get everything, the rest of this card kit back in here into the box so I don't lose any pieces. So the dies that came with this one, and the reason I like the gray is we've got us a little critter here. We've got us a little koala. So we've got the tree. We've got, there's his little head. Oh my goodness, he's adorable. That one's for a flower. They always include some kind of a flower piece, which I think is kind of cool. And then we've got the sentiments that says, let's hang. Oh, so hang in there, and then let's hang soon. So that is kind of cool because the little koala is hanging around, right? Oh yes, Kim, you guys know I absolutely love that gold mirror cardstock. So that is everything that I've got. Now the only thing that I did not get, and let me see if I can pull up a picture of it real quick. I did not get the die of the month yet. That is one that I have, that I'm not getting as an influencer, but I am getting the kit. And I should have done this before. We get that picture pulled up real quick. A new May Club kit. The large die of the month is the one that I want to show you guys. And that is on the wrong screen, so here we go. So this one is also a stitching die. So this one has all the letters to be able to create this card. So happy birthday to you. It's got the big U with the little stitching details. That is pretty cool. I have noticed that there are quite a few different dies. Yes, my mic is still on. Okay. There are some different dies coming up in the new release for May that are going to have that same kind of stitching detail. So you guys will want to keep an eye out for that. So this one is going to be coming in the mail probably in the next couple of weeks, and I'm planning on making something with it. And I also got last month's, and I have not had a chance to play with it yet. Let me grab it real quick. So last month's die of the month, which I have not played with, is this guy that makes this incredible camera. I think that is just too kind of old schoolish, but it's just lovely. I haven't even taken it out of the package yet because I got it just recently. And of course I've been sick in the meantime and all of that. Okay, so Melissa says that she gets both the Stampin' Die and the small die of the month. So you saw a couple of the things that you're getting in here. Let me just put my little, so I don't take up too much time. I'm gonna just put that in the box there, and I can get everything arranged the way I want it later. So first we've got, and there's going to be a lot of other things that I can make out of it. I mean, the flowers are just so pretty, and of course the ephemera is always going to have a lot of flowers and such in there. So that's going to be fun to make some cards with. So we've got the card kit of the month with our cute little koala. Here's the recap. Okay. Okay, Melissa says, I got that, not sure about it, kind of weird. So I think that that's going to probably be one that we need to kind of work together when I'm making that card. You have not been on my channel as a guest, so if you're interested in doing that and us creating that one together, let me know and we can set something up. So we first got the club kit, and we've got this adorable little stove. And maybe it would be nice if I actually looked and saw what the names of these things are. So this one is the die of the month. Oh, no, it's not. No, oh no, this was the APG. This one is Amazing Paper Grays, and this one is called Pop-Up 3D Vignette What's Bacon Oven. And since I have it up, I'm going to go ahead and just show you what everything looks like on the website too, so you kind of get an idea of the main sample that they did. So like I said, this one is a 3D pop-up. It's got all these cute little I can't tell you, I get excited over the spatulas and stuff. The tools are so fun. And it's got a little hanger on there, so you could use this on a lot of different kinds of excuse me. It's so much fun, and you can use it on so many different cards. I mean, you could do a flat card and have those hanging up on something, and I've got a couple of ideas for that. And I was right on that one piece being the rack that goes across the top. So then we've got the butterflies, so let's take a look and see how they have those showing up here. Where's my glimmer? Here's my glimmer. So, like I was saying, we've got they on this one, although it is the glimmer of the month, they didn't use anything other than the glimmer sentiment. I think that's kind of cool. So they used the background die that I showed you guys. Okay, Maureen, say what 3 times fast? Three times fast. Okay, so we've got the background piece that they used, and then they also used the pieces for doing the die cut little pieces. And I didn't even catch that the way that they were doing is they actually cutting it out separate. Oh, yes, yes, yes. So this piece that has the holes also has a cutting die around the outside. So it doesn't just cut the little piece, the little holes, it cuts the entire piece so that you can, basically all of these, you can die cut them separate and then stitch them. I'm thinking that would be a good couch project, meaning cut out a bunch of these little guys and then just do them in different colors. And then once you're done with all that, you can put all your cards together after you come back to the back to your craft room and such. So that's kind of cool. So you can do them either with the glimmer in the center, like what I've got this one showing, or you can do those little stitching there, or you could do it like this, and me bring that one back up because it does have one of those. So this blue one has got the little pieces on the inside, and this is actually, I am just amazed at this. It looks like you can do so many different things with it. It is just too cool. Like this one is one of these stitch dies for the side view, and then you put these pieces in, or you could put them in directly without that piece, because you could put that into the background piece. So there's so many different ways that you can do. Maureen was saying, oh, say that 3 times fast about the, yeah. The Amazing Paper Grace, the names are always like that. Okay, so we've got that cool butterfly again. Then we've got the die of the month, which is this pretty hello. And there we go. Yes, I'm looking back and forth because I'm going between screens because I want you guys to be able to see it. So here is the hello card, and as I mentioned, it's got that little bit of embossed detailing in the letters, and then it's got that nice frame, and the frame is all where you can die cut it out to, it's die cut where you can do all the flowers. Now what I'm also thinking on this one is that if you wanted to add some dimension, you could always cut out a spare of one of those backgrounds and cut out the individual flowers to be able to layer on top. So that one is kind of cool. So Kim says, I will sit and do mindless die cutting when not feeling creative. Yeah, well, what I did earlier this week, and you guys saw from my video from yesterday what I had done. Earlier this week, I was mindlessly watching YouTube, wasn't feeling too hot, didn't turn on the camera, and just started playing with some alcohol inks because I haven't pulled them out in a while, because I came across Tiffany's her YouTube channel, and then I want to, you know, this looks really cool. I love the way that she's getting all of this this wispy look. And I think I kind of figured out what she was doing that wasn't working, that what I was doing that wasn't working compared to what she was doing. And it just turned out fabulous. But I did like this card. This one is really, really pretty. And there's just so many different versions that you can do. And it's a simple one. And you could, I was also thinking this could be a shaker card by cutting out the hello and putting shaker bits in the background. So there's a lot of different things you could do with that. Okay, so next, yeah, I'm kind of going front to back and back to front, right? So this one again is a stitching, basically a stitching swatching is what it looks like to me. Let me see what they're calling this one for the small stamp and die of the month. Or the clear stamp and die of the month. And this is one that I did go in and look to see because I was confused because to me it looked too easy. And this image, you're going to tell, it's exactly what it looks like. Just looking back on here. Oh, hello, Miss Dawn. Welcome, welcome, honey. You haven't missed everything because I am planning, even though it's been almost an hour, I am planning on making something with this. So we're going to just keep on going until at least I get something created, right? Okay, so this one is the clear stamp and die, and it is called Stitched Color Wheel. So what it looks like, it actually is. And that was the part that kind of threw me. Because you've got this stamp that's like, what is that? To me, it also looks like an umbrella. So you could do that. You could use it just as a dimensional, some other kind of image on there. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I do like how they did this one where they did the the stamp that already has the string on it for the little floss holder, whatever. I forgot what it's called. But basically the floss thing, they've got that one that's all stamped out and they colored different ones, and then they did the one that cuts it out and where you can actually put floss on there. That I think is a super cool idea. I have not seen Elizabeth here. I expect to see her later on, but don't forget she is going to be live with me tomorrow night. Yes, today's Sunday. Tomorrow night at 5:30, we're going to be doing our planner Q&A, and then Tuesday night, I've got her and Bethany is going to be on. I sent them some goodies, and we are going to play with those, and I think they're going to be excited. I'm thinking about adding a couple of other things into the mix, but you'll just have to wait and see because I've got to get that part planned, assuming that my sinuses work. Floss bobbins, thank you, Dawn. Floss cards, thank you, Jim. Exactly. I was trying to remember what the darn things were called. And to be honest, I bought a bunch of them at one point, and now I've got a die. If you notice here, we've got a die that does it for you. So we've got the stamp, and then we've got the die, and it even includes a little part to cut for you to be able to catch the end. So that is going to be really cool too. What did I have left? Oh, the only other thing I had left and could be used on any and all of the cards is the super huge embossing folder that has all that stitch detailing on it, and I think that is pretty cool. Okay. So do I need to put a poll up, or do you guys just want to tell me in the chat which thing do you want me to play with first? Just try not to make it too hard because, like I said, I don't really feel... I'm doing a lot better. I wasn't able to talk this much, but I'm sure when I go back to listen to the part of the replay, I'm going to be really irritated with the way that my sinuses sound. Because right now they do sound very, very clogged. Coffee usually helps, but it's not yet. Dawn, thank you so much. You said that you are excited about this week. I don't know if you guys noticed, but over on Facebook, on our Crafting with Debbie Facebook group, and on my Facebook page, I added, excuse me, I added a new image up to the top that says kind of a little bit about what's going on. Like I've got the live streams listed on there, and on there saying that I'm usually doing my premieres at like 11 a.m. so that if you forget or want to see what I'm letting you guys know ahead of time is going on, it should be up there. So I'm going to try to keep that one updated. This is the first week, so I do like the way that that one looks. So far, Kim wants the foil butterfly, but nobody else, the Peanut Gallery, has not spoken. So what else do you guys want? Do you guys want the foil butterfly, or would you like something else? Yes, the floss die will work great for your cross stitch. Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my floss real quick and give you guys a chance to think about that and spread some of this out so you can see kind of some of your choices. And then you guys can let me know if you want to go with the butterfly, the hello, the stove, or the stitching, or the koala, because that little koala is too cute. Butterfly, butterfly. So far it's butterfly. The koala probably is the easiest one to do. Why is that out? So this is kind of what I think I've actually got more, if I remember right. When I was in Austin back in November, my mother-in-law was going through the attic at that extra house because there are no more houses up in Ohio. And, oh, like I said, I've got a bunch of these little guys. And I actually got a bunch more than that. But I've gone through so far my mom's, I think, all of my mom's stash. But it is at least some of the stash that I found. So this is actually a little bit bigger. The stamped and die cut one is a little bit bigger than the one that I got at the store. These are probably, due to the discoloration on here, I'd say they're probably at least 20 years old. But I've got another box that's like nothing but the bold white ones that I bought at one point. That I think I was using. Oh, I just had another thought. These are really good for using with your washi tape when you want to send somebody some washi samples. So now you've got a little card that you can stamp and cut out and include in your package to be able to send out. That is part of the part of your Happy Mail. Embroidery floss is cool, but I really don't use it that often. I mean, most of my crafting, I turn the camera on and I do it here. So you guys are mostly seeing my progression from A to Z as to how I'm getting better as I practice a little bit. But I really don't have a lot of extra time to do other. And I figure if I'm going to make something, I'm going to turn on the camera. I might as well make a video. That's kind of how it goes with that. But yeah, she gave me a box of some cross-stitch things, and there's some other things that I'm probably going to do at some point as part of a giveaway or something. I just haven't really gone through it to see what is in good enough condition for me to want to give to you guys. That's part of my problem when it comes to destashing. It's like, okay, I have this stuff. Is it really good enough for me to give to my friends, or do I want to just donate it? And a lot of times, because it's been used so much long ago, or I don't remember where I got it from, we all have those kind of things in our stash too, that I'm not 100% confident I want to give it to any of you guys. Instead, I'd rather donate it to somebody who I know will use it anyway. And make sure that I get you guys the better stuff. That's kind of how my mind goes with that. So Melissa says that she got her dad's floss when he passed. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to do the butterfly. So I need to get the rest of this stuff out of the way. And not drop any of the dies. Come on. That's what happens when I'm stacking stuff, right? So what I think I'm gonna do, here we go, put all of that back into the box. And try not to stab me with the needle. And I have no idea where that one came from because I never use, I think I bought the needles because I couldn't find the flossers. But this one has thread on there and I don't remember, maybe I used that at Christmas? I might have. Let me tuck that back into this. And then I've got a second one of these little guys. I knew that was going to fall. Did I drop one? No, I did not drop one. Melissa says she will take any cross stitch stuff. I will keep that in mind, honey. Actually, I need to put that on. I've got a little notepad open on my computer, so I need to go ahead and put it there because you guys tell me stuff and sometimes I forget who it was that told me. It's like, didn't somebody say something about that? Okay, so Melissa will take any cross stitch. Okay. Yeah, and Kim says that she has donated a lot of stuff over the past year. Understood. Okay, so are we going to go with glimmering this up, or are we going to go with stitching this up, or just die cutting it up? Does anybody have a preference, or thinking probably the fastest one would probably be to do the glimmer. And since it is part of the glimmer of the month, I should probably take out my glimmer system. Plus, I know we had questions about the glimmer system earlier. So, ooh, I just had another thought. Okay, you guys may or may not have seen this one. This came out in March. This one is where, actually, you should have watched my videos. Anyway, I basically left this on my glimmer machine since I used it because I want to use it on every single project. Because you glimmer something up and then you do this to take care of the waste and you've got those perfect square lines on there. Or of course you can still trim it down if you want. But I think that is just too cool. Okay. So let's see, what am I going to do? I think what I'm going to do, and this is just me trying to have an idea as to how to position everything perfect. Because I want to make sure that my wings, actually, let me see. Okay, I need to figure out exactly how everything works together. So, starting over from scratch, because otherwise I'm not going to be able, it's going to be harder for me to figure out what I want to do and where. Some things fit together, like this one, I know that that one fits together. So that's one of the side wings. But that also means, okay, well, that I think will work. It just means that I would wind up having to cut into the plate. Now, that's something I've tried not to do. Yes, overthinking, I know. Melissa, go get a cup of coffee, and mine's about half full, and it's getting a little bit cold, so I might make my husband, oh, he just went outside. I was going to say I might make my husband go get me some more. But what I'm thinking is that some of them may fit in one of these other smaller dies, which will be easier to die cut everything out. But I don't know if that works or not. So, that one does not fit it completely. Let's see about this one. Okay, these two fit. So that was what I was speculating, and I wasn't sure. So it looks to me like this one. Okay. Which means I can do a larger background, and then this one can be a layer, and that one can have that. Thing is, you can foil both, but I want to make sure everything is lined up right, because how many times have you tried, if you try to foil something that you've already cut out, or if you don't know what you're supposed to cut out, and since this one is a large piece, if I wanted to try to do this one, I'd have to make sure all of the foil pieces were in exactly the right spot. Okay, so those go together. I think, did I say this one goes together? This one goes together. Okay, and that's that one works for that. That one. It's kind of like trying to do a puzzle when you're not feeling well. So yeah, that kind of sucks. Okay, that one goes for that one. And this one goes for this one. And I think this one, that one can go for that one. So that gives you all your different choices. If I have them all lined up, then it'll be a lot easier for me to figure out what I want to use with what. And you guys probably just heard my phone. That one goes with that one. And here it comes my OCD. I know this is probably one of those times when I should have done everything beforehand, right? That one doesn't quite look the same, but it's probably right. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. Okay, this one goes with this one. Now this one goes with this one. And this one goes with that one. And that one goes with that one. Okay, good. So now I've got my little butterflies figured out. So this, I think I am going to just do this one in just plain white, main piece. And then I think I'm going to glimmer these up. So as long as I glimmer up the two of this, one for each side, I think. Actually, no, these are not the right ones. Those are for the side view. Here's my side view butterfly, and here's my front view butterfly, and I kind of want to do both. Which means, in order to glimmer this one up, I am going to have to put the whole thing on the plate to get it in the right spot. And then do a glimmering cut. However, I only have, do I have 2 of those? I think I might have 2 of those. Okay, yeah. So this is the way I'm going to be able to add the glimmer on there. Now the only other way that I know of that you could do that is if you lucked out and got everything spaced exactly perfect. That's not the right one. So now I've got my butterfly on there, and I just need to plug this in, let it heat up. Okay, and while that is heating up, I'm going to look back into the chat and see what you guys are saying. Deja said, glimmer please. Kim was saying, might be layers of the wings. Yes. So this is one, there are so many different options, I'm probably going to have to make more than one. Not necessarily today, but yes. And now at least, because you saw me kind of fighting with how everything goes together, now you know how it does, so that when you get yours, it'll be easier for you. I think the easiest way to tell is whether or not something fits into where it belongs. Well, thank you. I do see that Dario Guerrera, if I'm reading the name right, Dario just subscribed to my channel, so thank you so much. I appreciate that. And Dawn says that she is happy that I'm feeling better. Thank you so much. And thanks, Jim. That is a good idea, taking a picture. I'm going to also have to check the Spellbinders website, because sometimes they have more instructions over there than what I have here. And it was Dario Guerrera just subscribed to my channel. I just saw that our little Streamlabs bot is functioning today, and went ahead and said something in there. I did see that it also said something about my card making class, and it did it right, because a couple of days ago it did it wrong again, and then I reported it, and then the next day when I did a premiere, it did it right. So I have no idea what's going on with that one. I do know that if it keeps getting finicky, I'm either going to stop having those little automatic notifications in there that let you guys kind of know what's going on, remind you, smash that like button, and those kind of things, or I'll have to find a different way to do it. So making sure I do have that plugged in all the way. And while I'm at it, I also just noticed that there was no foil in that box, which means I either didn't get any this month, or I've got it put away. So let's see what color it's supposed to be for the glimmer of the month. Again, I'm waiting for my glimmer machine to heat up. So glimmer of the month always comes with a roll of foil, and this one says it is gold. That's probably why I didn't have it out, is because I've already got gold, so I probably just put it back in my bin, which this is what one of my bins, I've actually got two bins. I'm trying to keep everything actually coordinated with color and stuff. This, I believe, is one of the pieces that came, one of the ones that came in my glimmer machine, because when you get your glimmer hot foil machine, your glimmer system, it comes with foil, it comes with a die, and I believe it was a die too. It's a happy birthday glimmer plate and die set. So it's got that, and of course the system and all the good stuff. Dawn says she has to check her points. Okay, that is something I have forgotten about. Let me see if I can make the points thing come up. I think that was the code to do all the points. Okay, and I'm also going to get out my quick cutter. And after the fact, guys, I mean, after we're all done with this, I will go back and add affiliate links for all the things, so that you guys know where to get them. This is my quick cutter, and the easiest way for me to make sure that it all works. Like, yeah, the points thing is not wanting to work. Huh. Okay. Oh, that's because I misspelled it. Ponts. P-O-N-T-S is not the word. I believe that it's supposed to be exclamation point points. So let's see if that works. And it may have been points exclamation point. I don't really remember, because it's been a little bit since I used it. Okay. So we've got our little plate here. This is a self-healing mat. This is for folks that have not seen me use it before and don't really know what this thing is. This makes it so much easier to cut your foil. Oh my God. So this one, you can probably see all the little lines in there from where I've got, yeah, there we go. The little glimmer lines. Oh, awesome. Okay, so I have 279 and Dawn has 239, which tells you I don't always go back and rewatch the video. Anyway, this tells you I use it a lot for this. So this is a self-healing mat, and then this has got two raised edges on the two sides, so it's just a little bit up, and that means that when you run your foil underneath it, just place that on top, and then you can cut it, and it holds everything straight, which is totally awesome. And this is, I believe that piece will probably do it. It also comes with two blades. One is for paper, so you can use this as a paper trimmer, and one for foil. I only use the one for foil, and I'm going to do a quick measure of the wingspan. Get it from the other side because I can't count backwards. So that is about 3.5 inches wide by about 3 inches. And it's also got all your measurements. You've got all of your rulers and stuff here on this grid. So that is about 3.25 that way. So I'm going to cut it further down this way. Starting from here. God, I can't breathe. I am so sorry. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to go with 3.5. So I'm going to cut it right around here. And I should have done loyalty points. Basically just kind of, I never did actually use them on here, but I did set it up so that I could use it for other things as soon as I could figure out how they work, Miss Melissa. What I wanted to do was give a free membership. This is back when I first started the membership thing. If you are a member of my channel, or a channel member like Miss Melissa is, if you're a channel member, then you get access to my videos typically the day before they go live. So that is one of the perks that you get from that. Another perk is getting 10% off of all of my classes. So when you decide to sign up for one of my classes, that's what you get over there. Okay, so when you're doing foil on a foil press, it is different than when you're doing foil on, say, toner paper. You always want the shiny side to be the one that is going up from your cardstock. So, because you're putting your cardstock down, you're going to want the shiny side, pretty side, is going to go down. And the heat tends to flatten it out, which is awesome. Also, the systems, they each have grid pattern on the plates. Okay, this is getting a little bit too warm, so it's wanting to get weird. So you can basically place your panel where you want it on there, and you should be good to go. Now, I am putting this shim on there, which means this is what's going to get cut into. So put that down, put this one down on top of that, and then I'm going to hit the timer. So you probably, okay, you hit the timer, it's right here. So that is going to blink for a little bit while it's getting everything basically heated up enough to go up. Oh, absolutely. I have foiled my plates too many times because I did it the opposite way. Number one, it wastes the foil. I don't want to waste any of my foil. But it does kind of give a pretty color other than the brass on your foil plate. So that's kind of cool. But the reason I'm mentioning that is mostly because we don't really want to waste our foil, right? It's more expensive than, say, paper, and we don't really want to waste it because we could use it on something else that's just pretty. If you do happen to get any foil on your plate, though, it's no big deal. Just use some acetone to clean it off, and I usually have some on my desk. I actually put it away. Wow. I always have acetone because I'm doing my nails, and these are polygel nails, and I always need that when I'm doing these kind of nails. But all you have to do is just wipe it off, wipe your plate off, and it's good to go. Okay, so this has now, just going to show you and then move it back. It's now turned solid green, so the timer says it's done. And I'm going through a little bit more minute detail because I knew I got a couple of people that are looking into getting one of these and want to make sure that they are good. Now, when you're running it through your machine, you do not want to use your platform on there because it will not fit. The platform from your Glimmer machine replaces the platform there, and follow the instructions that come with the system. Okay, so I'm just going to run that through. I believe it's going to cut my butterfly. If it does not, that is perfectly fine too. I can just run it back through with additional pressure. And it looks like it does need additional pressure, which is fine. That is totally fine for me. Okay. And let's see. Here we go. This also comes with the system, which is cool. This has got a magnet in it, which means, and since this is not just one single piece of metal, it's not going to pick up the whole thing, and then I had this other guy here, and I don't use these things all the time, but if you want to. The plates are hot, so this is a silicone mat, so you can just drop it down on there, and you are good to go there. I am good. Oh. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that. I can tell where the cutting die, I think, is going to have foiled around everything too. So this is going to be kind of cool. I was not expecting that, but that just means that there's one more option as to how to do it, which to me means when you're wanting to cut and foil, you probably need to set everything up, including the foil plates, take your cutting plate off, and then run it through, because look at that. It foiled all of the pieces from my from my die. And I think that is just lovely. And then we've got this separate piece. Does have a little bit of underfoiling, but I don't care. Let me get these other plates off, because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put this guy on, and then I'm going to put my foil on top of it. And then I can do a separate panel that's going to have that butterfly right in the middle of that square. So I'm going to have to move it this way because the extension cord won't quite reach. So I'm going to try lining it up with the grid so I know exactly where it is. Oh, no worries, Miss Sherry. Hello, Sherry D. She just popped in, says, didn't see you go live, and she's really late. Well, it's been an hour, but that's okay. You can go back and see everything else, and in the meantime, you get to see the new Glimmer set of the month from Spellbinders. It's not this plate. This plate actually was part of the April release, but I love it, and I am keeping it with my Glimmer machine all the time. I also ordered the other three, so they've got a square, a oval, a circle, and a rectangle. So that covers most of the different design ideas. Okay, so now I'm going to place my little butterfly on here. And it does look like it's probably going to go off the side a little bit, but that is totally fine. Put my cardstock down and try to have it straight, although that doesn't really matter either. Hello. Okay, so I need to say hello to some folks that just popped in. If I can move my mouse around, that's what happens when you have all your crafty supplies. And all your crafty supplies and your computer stuff all on the same screen. So we have... So Sherry, I believe I already said hello, hello, hello. And I think I scrolled too fast. Helen Butts is here. She's also a little bit late, but thank you for dropping in, honey. We have... There was somebody else I saw on here. Jonna Watson, welcome. I did see your name on there. And for some reason, it looks like I accidentally shut off one of my things that I was doing my chat with. Let me see if I can just pop this guy out. There we go. So that is going to make it a lot easier to see and read. Awesome. I am always learning new ways to do stuff on my streams. And that one isn't as live, so there we go. I had basically had two different chat boxes for the same stream. Okay, let me try this again. Okay, we've got this guy is heating up. It is not ready yet, but I am going to place it pretty side down and try to get it to be lined up and straight in the center of that square. Okay, it's now saying it's ready. Next, I'm going to place a piece of regular cardstock, smoother the better, but I just use whatever I have. And then I think I want it to be right about in the center. That way I can trim off as much or as little as I want. I'm going to try to make it straight. Put my shim down, hit the timer, put my plate on top, and then try to move it without without shifting anything around. That is probably the biggest problem with me using any of my plates. Oh, thank you so much, Sherry. I'm getting there. I'm able to talk longer. These guys already know I've been on here for almost an hour and a half, talking pretty much the whole time. And since there are a few people that have just popped in and missed all of the fun goodies in this box, while this is heating up, now while I've got the timer set, so while it's doing its thing, I will go ahead and look at some of these. You do not get floss. This is just what I was thinking if we happen to be doing any stitching. So this first one is the Amazing Paper Grace, and it is a 3D pop-up stove. I think that is totally awesome. We've got our embossing folder of the month, which has got this pretty stitch detailing. We've got the clear stamp and die, which I think is really, really cool. Mostly because it actually made me think and try to think, is it really that easy? This one is super, super easy. This one is a color wheel, and you've got your little floss holders. This stamp, you can stamp out each of the boxes in different colors. So you could use it for different things, but this I think is really cool, especially if you use any kind of embroidery floss and you ran out of cards. You've got the stamp and die for all of these pieces. So that is kind of cool. Speaking of stitching, we've got this hello, which is really pretty for the front of a card. It's got all that stitch detail. And then, trying to find a place that I can put this where it's not going to, number one, fall on the floor, or number two, drop all the pieces, because that's what I was doing a little bit ago. And then for the card kit of the month, we've got this cute little koala die. Lots of the regular goodies that you're used to. This one is some letter stickers that spell out a lot of fun words. These are super pretty. Chipboard pieces, some more flowers, another flower stamp, which I absolutely love all the flowers. Bunch of ephemera that I have not looked at yet. Okay? This is the part that I think is cool. Also, one of the colors of cardstock they give you is a nice pretty gray, which is going to be great for that little koala. So I already know I'm going to use that one. So let me get all of this back in here. It's somewhat flat. No, you do not get the magnetic sheets. I just put that one in there so that I don't lose it. Okay, let me get all of these back in the box so I don't lose any of the pieces. And then grab my Platinum 6. And the first round what I did, this set is the Glimmer of the Month, and it is a lovely stitched butterfly. So what I've done so far is this was basically the die and the glimmer plates that go along with it, and I thought that that was so pretty. So now what I'm doing is I'm doing the reverse side, and that is ready to go. And this is using one of the brand new solid glimmer plates. This one is the solid gold. Solid square. And it should basically do a reverse image of that pretty butterfly. Okay, we got our magnetic thing. And this one's big enough that it doesn't want to pick up. Oh, this little guy is one that I picked up at the Dollar Tree. It doesn't have a release thing though, like this one does, but it is able to pick that up, and it is a little stronger, which is kind of cool. Let me put that back in my glimmer system. Another one of the things that's different between the Glimmer hot foil system and the Gemini is that with the Gemini, it's recommended that you take it off the heat, like if you're not actively using it. If you're not getting it ready to run it through, unplug, do not plug it back in. Do not plug the platform back into the base, because it's going to heat it up again, especially if you're using any foils other than the Glimmer foil, because it's going to be too hot. And that's one of the reasons that it caused my warping and caused my initial platform to crack. This one, they actually recommend that you keep it plugged in. If you're using it, keep it plugged in. It saves you some time, and that's my thought on that one too. So this looks like it's going to be pretty cool. It does have the tips of the butterflies hanging off because the the plate wasn't quite big enough for that. But then let's go ahead and we've got a second panel that is a perfect square, using up all that excess foil. So this can now go in the trash instead of in a scrap bin. I've got like 2 or 3 different foil scrap bins because I don't want to throw anything away. And this is really easy. Now this one, I have a feeling that the size of that plate there, the size of the butterfly, probably would have fit just fine on the rectangle. Like I could have done a horizontal rectangle and it wouldn't have had anything cut off, but I still think that's pretty. I do have to admit that it's not exactly in the center. I messed up there, but all I have to do with that is I can just trim it down, which I do anyway. Can I cut it to stitch now? Yes. If I cut it to stitch, it's also going to cut out all those little circles. I have thought about getting the bigger hot foil plate, and that was a question from Kim. I just wasn't willing at this point to go over to Pink Fresh to do that, so I was super excited when these came out from Spellbinders. These are smaller, but they also give you, like I said, I just ordered the other 3. So we've got different shapes. So let's say that you've got some flowers. You can have the flower positioned somewhere in there and give the reverse image. And you've also got this already done. So you could do some other things on there and it would be really cool. I do like the fact, with any of those, you can always cut them down. Absolutely. But this is kind of cool because then you could do like a flat card and not have to cut it down unless you wanted to. So I could just trim some off the 2 sides, and it's going to be still basically a flat card with that pretty butterfly, and then anything additional I want to add on to it. Because I really like all of that foiling without the stitching, I think what I'm going to do, because it sounds like you guys are also wanting to see some of the stitching. Am I right on that one? Because if we're not going to do the stitching now, I actually like this a lot the way it is. I can fussy cut around it and keep all of that pretty foiling that came through from my die. Now if I put this back in place, I can definitely cut it out, and it's going to cut out all of those little circles and stuff that I just got the pretty foil on. So not sure that I want to do that. Yeah, I like those the way that they are, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another one. That way I can do the foiling as well. And try that other way that I mentioned that I thought would probably work better. Let me get some of this out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to line up this guy. Actually, I'm going to take it off for a minute so it can cool down. Okay, so that's good. So I'll line this up. Put the foil pieces in, and then I'm going to line them up as well, and then I'm going to remove my die. Because then I will do just the foil on the butterfly foiling pieces. Of course, that didn't work. There we go. Then I just need some foil to go over that. I just have to make sure that I do not shift anything. I think this piece of scrap might be big enough. Nope, that's not quite big enough. So this time I'm going to just, because I don't want to move anything around, I'm just going to use some scissors this time. You can cut your foil whichever way that you want to. I tend to use the quick cutter because it always curls up on me when I don't. And if my AC is running, it blows all over the place, and it's just kind of where it's a little bit hard to... Okay, so it's about there. I'm trying to just guesstimate where it needs to be. Okay. And this is already saying that it's ready, so all it needs for me to do is to hit the timer. Okay, hitting the timer, put these on, and then run it through my Platinum 6 machine. Yes, I'm using my entire desktop and my my floor space to try to make sure I have access to everything. Okay, somebody said something about something that he'd be unlucky. Ooh, Jim, that is actually a good idea too. He says to cut a piece of acetate or vellum and stitch it over the foil base. My only issue with that is I know that I would be losing some of that pretty foiling, and I don't want to lose any of the foiling. Little tater tots. Okay, I have to look back up. My wonderful husband just brought me breakfast, an omelet with crispy crowns. Ah, that is sweet. Crowns, that kind of makes sense. I kind of understand what she's talking about. I think it's like the tops of the tater tots, so they look like the little crown off the top. That kind of cool. I've never heard them called that either, but it makes sense. And Helen, of course, wants stitching. So I think because of that, I'm also looking at this and trying to see how would it work with stitching. I think when you use the foil plates, it doesn't really work well for the stitching. Let me pull up this one, bring this one up, because the holes. Yes, if you could do some stitching, go back, basically do a line. But if you try to go, say, forward to back, it's going to cover up all the pretty foil, and I'm thinking the pretty foil on here, and I don't really want to do that. So I am going to do one more. This one I'm going to try to do basically this image, but cut out instead of having the outline being foiled as well, and that'll also let us see that option. But I think in order to do the stitching ones, you're going to have to do the ones with some of these stitching pieces instead of the foiled pieces. So it's kind of an either or. Okay, and let's hope that it didn't shift, right? says it took us longer than usual to start the food talk. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, I had a bagel. Good morning, Miss Crystal. Okay, so now we've got our pretty little, there it is. Got our foil parts on there. So let me get the foil press out of the way. And you saw I just put it back in, which I don't really need to because I'm not going to foil. Well, I could foil some sentiments in a little bit. Let me get those off of there. So I'll go ahead and plug this back in, but put it off to the side because I'm going to do some die cutting now. Okay. And that'll be ready to go when I'm doing the foil. And this will kind of give a cool design also once I get it, when I foil it using that other foil plate. So it's not where I'm going to waste this. I am not going to waste it at all. But that I think is going to be kind of cool too. Okay, get those guys off. So next what I'm going to do is going to be some die cutting. Using my magic mat. And this piece of gray that you see here, this is that new Ranger Media mat that I cut down to use specifically with my die cutting machine. And you can tell it doesn't have any kind of damage on there, but what it does, it helps it so that everything doesn't shift around like I usually have happen. Congrats, Sherry. I think 34 years would be a very long time if you spent a lot of it apart. Okay, so now I want to see what's going on with Sherry. So are you saying that today's your anniversary? Because yesterday was mine. But I don't see the comment saying that. I do see that you said something about 34 years this year for me, but most of that we haven't lived together. Pam wasn't here to start the food talk. That's exactly right. Okay, so this guy, this is going to be a little bit different to do. And I have, like I said, I have not tried this yet, so I don't really know how easy it is to line up. But can already tell, I do have a little overfoiling, that's okay. The large part is up at the top. And does look like it lines up pretty easy. And since it's not actually cutting close to those lines, it shouldn't be a problem, even if it was off by a little bit. So I'm just going to put this down over the top there. And it's basically going to hold all that stuff in place. I've been using that new Ranger map for, I don't know, a week or so. Okay, I've been using it pretty much since right before I got sick. Okay. So we can see the dots cut out, so that is good. And it is kind of stuck to my plate, but the reason for that is because of that little mat there. That's the only thing that's holding everything together. So this guy has got that pretty eyelet look around the edges. I do need to clean out all of those little holes, but that's fine. I've also noticed one reason why this corner kind of stuck in there is that this adds just a tiny, tiny bit of extra pressure. It's almost like a shim. So if you have it positioned on top there, it gives a little extra pressure over the whole thing, and that does help things to die cut better. That is going to be a pretty one. Okay, let me get that out of the way. I already just had another idea for this. Yep, I think that's what I'm going to do with that. But this one does not really have place for you to do the stitching. So that was my point on it. It doesn't look like it's got the stitching parts. So we've right now got 3 butterflies. So next what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this so that it does have the pieces for the stitching. So now we know what it looks like with the foil. Next we're going to see how it's going to look with the stitching. I've got to turn this around so I can see what I'm doing. actually. Dummy me. I need to cut one out like this, and then I need to cut out a couple of the stitching pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And easy peasy, since I've got it already lined up on this Ranger mat, got it lined up on there where I want it. Just put my cardstock on top of it, flip it over, maybe, and then run it through, and that'll cut out that outline and all of the little fun eyelet detailing. Okay. So that is super pretty. And then next for this one, I'm going to cut out the pieces that I need to do the stitching with. Okay. And that's these guys. Just need to make sure I get the right ones. That one goes with that. That goes with that. Actually, I could do both. So this is going to be one of the side view butterflies. Okay, and so that's side view. And of course I had forgotten that these guys also cut the border around it, so that would have cut a hole in there, which is kind of cool too, because that means you can make each of these little, that would be cool. Those could be made into little shakers. This little sticky mat cute, So I saw Sherry D's question to Susie Q. Martin about the sticky mat. This one is the Ranger media mat. It's basically a big gray roll, and it's like a silicone mat. It's a new media mat, and you can cut it down to whatever sizes. And I cut one down to about A2 size, specifically to use on my Gemini Junior and into my Platinum 6 for die cutting, and it's working great. The Magic Mat helps the dies not warp, so I'm basically using both of those products along with it, and so far everything's been working out great. Okay, since I don't know what goes with what, I'm just going to do all of these little guys, and then I can of course put them together. And now nothing is arranged the way I want it on my on my black mat, right? I will have to go back again later and do something with that. Okay. Is there anything else I want to cut out on here? No. So I'm going to shift some of these down to the other side, because I'm going to do all of these in white, and I want to do the base of the butterfly, the bodies of the butterflies in different colors. Probably to match the where's my other thing? Probably to match. My brain just, oh yeah, on my other machine I have to have both the Gemini Junior and 2 mats. With this one I just need the one. And I'm having it cut into my magic mat so that the other plate doesn't warp. Yes, the magic mat, if it warps, you can see this one is a little bit warped, not too bad, but if it, I forgot to put paper down. I see all the marks on there, but no paper. Dummy me. But you can definitely flatten it back out. I have a video on my channel that shows that it took about just over 4 minutes, I think, each, using the Ranger Heat It tool. I did a timer and everything on there to show how it doesn't take very long to get it done. Because I was getting questions. People were saying, well, wait a minute. Why do you want to get this when it warps your paper? I mean, when it warps your mat. Okay, you see, this one is warped now. A lot of it just has to do with how much pressure you're putting through the machine, but you need to put the pressure down in order to here's the rest of them, in order to cut. If you don't have the pressure, it's not going to cut. Okay, so here are all our cute little stitching guys. And let me get this stuff out of the way again. Okay, so I figure the way that this will work is I can do stitching on them and then adhere them onto my butterfly. You know, pop them up on some foam tape and then add the body in the center. And here's my little bin of ones. I've got some pretty blues. I've also got a lot of red and a lot of yellow. I've had a ton of pink. What color do you guys like? And since Susie Q was asking about that, I am going to go ahead and look up, while you guys are telling me which color, I'm going to look up my video for the magic mat and flattening it out. I also have a playlist for the magic mat, so you guys can always double check that to see the different ones. I put out, I think, like 4 or 5 videos on the magic mat since they came out with it. But I use it on almost every time I use my die cutting machine. Actually, I do use it every time I use my die cutting machine. I've got more than one. I've got one that I bought when they did a sale, I think like in January or something, that I still haven't used. Oh, thank you, Miss Crystal. Cordelia's saying blue. Sherry says purple. Melissa says yellow. Jim is saying yellow and orange. So my Magic Mat playlist has got 8 videos on it. And let me get the link to the one. I'm going to get the link to the one where we did the copy. There we go. So I'll put this in the chat. So it's just basically where you can watch it at your leisure. Like I said, it's not that long of a video. It is, I think, like about probably 5 to 10 minutes, but it does show you how you can how you fix your magic mat in less than 5 minutes. That's the title of my video. Anyhow. Okay, I'm going to have to go back and look at the chat later and write down all of your color ideas to do later, because I've already cut it in white. So Melissa was absolutely right, having it in orange and black, orange and yellow, and then having it die cut in black would look awesome. But I already have it in white. All the little pieces are in white. But yeah, doing one of these, having one of these in black, and actually having all of these little guys in black also would probably look cool. Okay, so looking back up. Oh, hello, Miss Shay. I'm so happy to see you here, honey. So we've got purple and blue and orange and yellow and blue and turquoise. Well, Crystal said blue and turquoise, so that's basically 2 of the blues. Okay, so I'm going to go with the blue. I think I'm going to go with this one. Do you like that? I might go with actually 2. There we go. So another option that you have with these is how many threads you use. Now, if you've done any cross stitching, you already kind of know that. Basically, if you have one thread, you're going to have a lighter color. At least that's the way I'm thinking. You'll have a lighter color, or if you have a, if you do more than one, it'll be kind of, I guess the best words are hard, guys, so sorry. Oh, Cordelia, I think everything was on the website about that because I was able to go on there and find it immediately. And I've known since when they first came out with it that 2 years ago, I think it was a year ago last November, I got some of the first ones. And I went on their website pretty much immediately and saw that all it took was some heat to flatten it out. So I've been flattening mine out the whole time, which is probably one reason why I'm going to have to replace one of mine at some point. Now, I do have one that I haven't used yet. I think it's actually a 2-pack, but I've got the long one for my Sizzix machine that doesn't get used very much. I have multiples. One reason I have multiples is because when it's warped, if you don't want to have to take the time, like you're in the middle of a video, you don't want to take the time to have to flatten it out right in the middle of something, grab the other mat. That's what I do every time. And then when they are both warped enough that it's starting to irritate me, then I go ahead and flatten them out. Now, here's the thing. Before I got the magic mat, I didn't do that much die cutting. At that point with Spellbinders, I was doing 2 kits. One was the large die of the month, and one was, I think it was the glimmer. But that's it for them because I wasn't really wanting to do a whole lot of die cutting because although I love die cutting, it was warping my mats way too fast and it would irritate me trying to get any kind of my dies to go through my machine with a warp plate and not mess up the plate, not mess up the die. I've had dies that basically they wound up being bent because of the pressure going through my machines. And my Gemini Junior was the machine I was using pretty much exclusively then, and it has plenty of pressure. So using the magic mat has definitely helped me to want to die cut more, and most of my cards over the last 4 or 5 months have been almost exclusively die cutting. So that's just saying, I'm doing a lot more die cutting, have not had to replace my plates. I've got one that is starting to get bad, but it's probably 2 years old, and my plates were not lasting that long. Okay, Deja, email me with a link to the plate that you said that you like. And that's the thing with from what you were saying, Kim, when Magic Mat first came out, they said it was going to replace our warp plates. I didn't interpret it 100% like that. I was going to keep our plates from warping, yes, but I don't think it's pretty much impossible to not have something be as a disposable. I hate that, but you know, it is what it is. Okay, so this one. Okay, so you could technically use these circle pieces to do the stitching over as well, but then you get rid of all that extra detailing, and I don't want to do that. And I'm not going to try to think anymore on the magic mat because I can't really remember I can't remember all the things. All I know is that I love it. It's been working great for me, and I have not had to replace my mats. The one that is currently it's not on its last lid, but it's starting to warp a little bit and starting to crack a little bit, is one of the ones that back when I first got my magic mat, I also flattened out those in my toaster oven, believe it or not. Never got around to doing a video with it, and that's the only one out of all my plates that I'm having any kind of a problem with at all. And that's one of my Gemini plates that has tons of pressure over there, and it's been being used for probably 2 to 3 years, I think. Okay. So I'm going to try to separate these strands out. So if you've used any floss, you know that you have separate little strands. One strand is going to give it a real... Basically, you're just going to have those thin lines there. It's still very, very pretty, and I do like that look. I think the first stitched card that I did was a Christmas one that I did like 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. And it was a Christmas tree, and I did, I think, like 3 strands of red, and it kind of made it puffy, and that was kind of neat. But it gave it a different texture than what I was expecting. And it used up a lot more floss, which I didn't mind because, you know, I have a bunch and then I never use it. This time, I think I'm just going to use 2 strands. If I can find 2 strands. Is that 2 or 3? Okay, let me just grab one strand out and then I can put it with this other one and go with that. Okay. You can tell I am not a cross stitch expert at this point. It's been a long time since I did one. And then I am of course going to be using my little flosser for this. Now these holes are bigger than some of the other ones that I've used. That's why I was grabbing the wrong one. I forgot I needed one of the ones that has a little circle hole at the bottom to be able to do the cross stitching. This is like the background for one of these. So these are the ones that have got the pretty eyelet detailing. And then this, just going to put that there. I'm going to grab out some tape. Because one thing I want to make sure of is that I don't lose the end. And it doesn't really matter what kind of tape that you use. I'm just going to use a little bit of washi tape because I figure I am going to pop this up on some foam, and when I do that, it'll be holding the tape in place anyway. But this is kind of a small area, so I'm using my tweezers so I can make sure I get it positioned right. And you don't necessarily have to do it like this. I mean, this, you guys know I've got a touch of OCD, so I want it to be close to perfect, right? Okay. And this is also another reason why I don't, oh, actually I'm not going to do it that way. Saving some floss, I can just go up to the next one. As long as that string doesn't show anywhere, it is going to show. Darn it. I have done some where I just go back and forth with the other ones. Instead, on this one, you are going to need to go down to the bottom hole and then go to each of those additional holes to get the look that this is designed for. And I did mention that I haven't done any of this stuff in a long time, right? I think the last stitching that I did was a was a stitched card probably around Christmas this year. But I'll be honest, a lot of the time what I've been doing with the stitched card dies is taking advantage of that pretty detailing that those holes add. But I think it is something else that I need to kind of get into again. So this month I'm going to be doing quite a few stitched cards. Okay, one of the downsides of using this guy is that because the hole is so big on the loop of the flosser, it sometimes comes out of it. Okay, so there's more talk about the magic mat. Deja has the magic mat and she loves it. Absolutely, honey. Okay, come on. Trying not to lose the end of my floss and trying to grab a hold of my, see what I mean? Because the hole is so big, sometimes it does do that. This also means that this thing is so tiny, you can get it into some of the really, really small ones, and I hadn't really thought about how large these were going to be. Yes, you've got the chrome precision base plate. I've got another base plate. It's another precision base plate, but it's not the pretty chrome one. It's like the dark black one that does do some of the that does pretty good with the dies and everything too. It's really good for the intricate dies, but I only use that one over on my Sizzix machine. It does not fit into my Gemini, and it is it's one of those extension plates. It's one of the longer ones. So what I'm doing now is I'm basically putting my my flosser underneath some of the other strands so that I can tie a knot. And if you've done cross stitching at all, you probably already know this. Okay, I'm going to trim off some of the excess, except it doesn't really look like it. Did it tie? Yeah, it tied. I just want to cut off enough of the excess so it doesn't show. And then that can go up on top. Let me make sure which one it belongs to. So these are the stitchings. That goes to that. There we go. I knew I had some more of these. And this is right about the right size. Yep, looks like it's about the right size for a foam dot. One of the little foam squares from Spellbinders, so I will use that. On the back, I'm making sure that I've got the part that has got the tape on it, because again, I do not really want to show it. And I'm trying to also grab the little bit of thread. Yeah, I thought that too to begin with, and you might be able to do that, but I think this is going to look pretty cool. Let me see. Yeah, I think I like it right there. And it does need a little bit more foam near the end, so let me cut off a little tiny piece. So what are y'all doing for the rest of your day? We've already been on here for 2 hours, believe it or not. Okay, so there's that first piece. And I'm sure that the more I do the stitching, the faster it's going to get. But this is one of those time-consuming things. So Cordelia's got to do laundry and vacuuming. Melissa has to go to church and the grocery store and then crafting of some kind. What else are you guys going to be doing? Ooh, Cordelia's having pot roast for dinner. So I need to pick out which ones belong to these. So that one goes there. And so that was there. Am I missing one? Okay, I think that one's good. Okay, that one goes to that one. Okay. Wanting to make sure I have them in the right ones. And that one goes there, I think. I think that's the way that they go. Okay, let me go ahead and start on this one now that I know which butterfly it belongs to. Dacia says, I've never cross stitched, so I hope you do go really slow. This is more like embroidery than cross stitch. Cross stitch is done with a canvas that has got like a cross weave on it, and you have to just go in and out of those two, basically making little X's. With embroidery, it go a lot of different ways. This one, I think cross stitch is more popular because you don't have to know all the different stitches. And this is a very, very simple stitch. All you're doing is you're going in and out of one of the holes. So these are really, really, really simple. You could probably dress it up with some others. So I'm going in at the bottom after I had taped it down because I wanted to make sure that it stays straight. And this time I'm going to try to hold the thread and everything kind of still. So I'm going in through one hole and then going over the top to the next. And then back through the bottom hole. So basically just going, kind of creating a little bit of a circle, right? And because I haven't been practicing this in quite a while, actually I think the last one that I did for cross stitching was when I was in, I started it when I was in Austin, probably during one of the streams, but I'm not 100% sure, and finished it up after I got home. So, and this is really cool with the paper ones. You've got all the holes are right there for you. It's not like trying to stitch into any kind of fabric, because with fabric you have to make sure it's lined up exactly where you want it to be. And with this, you just follow the holes that are already pre-punched for you. And and one of the other things is with floss, you don't really know how long of a strand you're going to need. So I always cut it too short. I either cut it too short or too long. And that's one reason why at the end it kind of decides to come out. So what I'm going to do for tying it off, and this one actually went a lot faster than the other. I told you, you just have to get used to it, right? Ooh, Kim's gonna get some new release stuff from Pink Fresh. Awesomeness. So I'm basically going under all of the stitches. And I'm going to do it a second time. So I've got this loop up here. And then I'm going to put the end through that and basically tie it into a little knot. And I think I'm going to actually tape this one off as well. Just to be on the safe side, because I really don't want it to, I don't really want it to come unraveled. Okay. And then just trim off the excess. Okay. So now I've got two parts of the bottom, and now I can go and do one of the top ones. And this one I might actually run out of thread, and have to get some more, which just means taping it off and starting a new piece. And that's pretty easy to do. If you don't lose your thread. Okay, so Joanne is matching everybody's what? Oh, you're wanting a craft press. Absolutely. Great, great, great for sublimation. And you guys remember when I did the artistry last summer? That was just too fun. And I got to meet Ashley in person at Creativation. Looks like I had an extra piece there. Okay, now I need another little piece of tape. Now these little ones, they're quick to do. I think the larger panels, like what I've seen, there are a bunch of different companies that do stitched dies. But I think because of some of the larger panels will probably be easier to do, probably just because there's easier to grab the cardstock. This is a little piece and it's a little bit finicky. Okay, now I have to look back up because Cordelia is talking about some kind of a class. Okay, and now I see that my StreamBot is not doing what it's supposed to do, so I'm going to have to turn that one off for next time. If they can't figure out what's going on and why it keeps doing that, maybe I need to leave it on long enough for them to really research it. But I've already reported it, but it's not supposed to say a January class. And doesn't even have the right link anymore because I've changed things. If you want to sign up for one of my classes, like the one coming up in May, that I just did an email this last week announcing the topic and showing a sample. You go to my edu site, which is pretty much brand new. And that's edu.debbiejscraftingcorner.com. Okay. Yeah, this one does look like the thread is going to be a little bit short because I still have 5 stitches to go and I probably have don't really have enough thread. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and this is just paper, so it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be tied up perfectly like you do with, excuse me, like you need to do with fabric. So I'm just going to tape it off. So that just means pulling it taut and putting a piece of tape down to hold it in place and then trimming off the excess. And now I need some more thread. Well, congratulations on the new place, Miss Deja. Okay, trying again to, oh, it looks like I actually pulled off 2 this time instead of just the 1. So that saves me some time. Also, oh, bye-bye, Miss Kim. You have a great one, honey. And you get kind of the basic idea, and I think you've done stitching before and you've done some glimmering before. So I've shown how to use the dies and stuff, and now I'm just pretty much putting together one of my butterflies. So I'm going to tape off the end again here. And using tweezers is so much easier than trying to use my fat fingers. Okay, so that one is done. Just need to tape it off. So that was pretty quick too. I am starting to get a little bit quicker as I'm doing this. And it definitely helps when you have the right length of thread. I may not have the right length of thread for the last one because I used part of it on this one, but that's okay too. Oh, that is going to be so cute. I'm going to go ahead and try stitching this one up, and then I can put together the last bits. But these are perfect. Like I said, I think this would be basically a great watch TV and craft kind of project. So that you can do some of that, and then you can put all the pieces together. You can create a bunch of little bits for all of your little butterflies, put them all together, and then add them to cards as you need them. But this little extra detailing is kind of cool. And I hope I've been staying in frame because I have not been paying attention, so I apologize. Okay, so I got half of that one done, and so I'm going to go ahead and tape it off again because I do need more thread, and I just cut off way too much tape. And this is just some washi tape I've got in my stash. Okay, and this should be more than enough to finish this off. Just need to pull off 2 threads. And I think you guys can see that this, I can't really keep talking when I'm stitching. It's not something it's like I don't know, what else do you say? You put the thread in one hole, put it in the other. I really do not do any kind of videos on stitching. I probably should do some recorded so that it can be sped up. And if that's something that you guys are interested in, I mean, I know that right now you're just kind of wanting to hang out. Yes, metallic floss would be awesome. I did do a card. At one point, it was a Christmas card. So it was a tree, a stitched tree, and I did that in some gold, and that was incredible. Okay, so tape this down again. Oh, thank you so much, Crystal. I do think that this is turning out really pretty. It's just kind of time. This is something I think watching a YouTube video while you're doing it would probably be a good idea. And you could always pull in some other embroidery kind of stitches if you know them. I mean, there's some knots and things that I think would be kind of cool at the end points, but I haven't even attempted to do anything like that in at least 20 years. I got into embroidery a little bit in high school, and then I didn't do any more, and then I did some cross stitch during my lunch breaks at one job back in the, I don't know, early mid 90s. So it's been a long time ago. And haven't really done any since. I mean, my favorite cross stitch project wasn't even one that I did, but my father had done he made me a like a bank, a wooden bank, where he made the bank out of wood. You know, did all of that, and then he also did a cross stitch unicorn on the front, and they were teeny, 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 tiny stitches. I mean, I think about like half the size of the standard cross stitch size that you get at the store. I have no idea where he got that that design, or even the cross stitch canvas, because the stitches were incredibly small. And I'm thinking he would have had to have looked through like a magnifying glass or something to be able to see it. I couldn't see it. Okay, so hello T. Phillips. I see your name just popped up, so welcome. Okay, Cordelia, go take care of the wash, honey. So to do to put the little pieces on, the little cross stitch pieces on, I'm using some of the pop dots or foam squares, whatever we want to call them. It came in the kit of the card kit of the month. And I'm actually using a couple. Actually, I don't need these little ones anymore. I think I can just do this with two of the bigger ones, and that'll work perfect. The others, I put one on and it wasn't enough. It's like, it was kind of saggy on one end, and I didn't want to do that. Thank you, we're excited. I don't know what that means. I don't know if you're talking to me or somebody else, Miss Stacia. You're excited about what? Oh, I think you're excited about your move is what it is. As my show right now, my little live stream is not all that exciting. Okay, so I'm going to put that one in there. And add one more. And then I still need to die cut the bodies. And I'm thinking for this one, I think I want to have like a dark blue. What do you guys think? Dark blue? And then maybe the antennas can be silver. I think that'll be kind of cool. Miss Shay, you didn't stay very long. Thanks for dropping in, though, honey, and I will chat with you later. We have out another live stream tomorrow. Tomorrow's live stream is going to be tomorrow night at 5:30. That's going to be the planner Q&A with Miss Elizabeth Costa Rogers. And if I have time today to get another video up, then I'll go ahead and do that one tomorrow morning for you guys too. Don't know if I'm going to have the time to do that though, to get it all finished with spending, oh my goodness, 2.5 hours so far just to try to get a card done. Of course, I did show you all the other fun things too. So let me get the body pieces, or body piece, because I'm only going to do one. So we've got this body piece, and then we've got the antenna. And I think I am going to go with the dark blue for the antenna, and then some silver. Yeah, this color blue looks like it would work. Ooh, I'm going to go with this. This is the foam from Spellbinders. So that's the glitter foam that I showed you guys when I did the car videos. I do like that. Let me find a little scrap of some of the silver mirror. And that is a perfect size. It's like I just was keeping the scrap. Yep, that's perfect size for this. So for this one, I'm just going to cut a little bit off over here. Okay, so announcement. Crystal is doing a live stream with Miss Elizabeth tonight. So, are you going to be on her channel, or is she going to be on your channel, Miss Crystal? So that we know where everybody needs to be. So I think I'm going to just put that kind of there. And if you don't know, this is some of the new Ranger media mat that I'm using in my die cutting machine so that my papers don't really shift around quite as much. And it has been great. I'm still cutting into my magic mat. And I've been using this same kind of thing, using one of those, using one of the Ranger Media Mat squares that I cut off from the main thing. I've been using that in both the Gemini and oh, okay, so you're gonna go live on there with her on Wednesday. Okay, so I'm live here today, tomorrow, and on Tuesday I'm with Elizabeth on my channel, and then you're gonna be on her channel on Wednesday. That's a bunch of live streams, guys. I did add my stuff over onto her her calendar. You know, that calendar website. I think it's Brown Bear or something like that. Ooh, that's gonna be cool. But I added my my live streams onto that last night. I think I got them all on there anyway. Come on. So here is my little butterfly body. That is going to be perfect. Oh my goodness. And then we've got, and I'm dropping it on the floor. Got the little silver a silver antenna. And the only other thing I need to create really is a sentiment, and let me get some of this out of the way and reheat. I need to turn this machine back on because it cooled off. Okay, now it can start heating back up again, and I can decide on how I want everything to be arranged on my card. And I know I have a card base around here somewhere. Here we go. Okay, and then the sentiments that come with this, of course I'm going to use the Glimmer one, which says, "You give me butterflies." And I think I'm going to actually glimmer straight onto the card base. No, I take that back. I do have the die, so I might as well try using the die as well. So that's going to be cool. So I think I'm only going to do the one. I may decide later to, at some point, I'm thinking this would be cool with 2 butterflies, but you don't have to do all those. Well, Cordelia, tomorrow night's is the planner Q&A. If you have any questions you want me to ask, and then you can check out the replay, send me an email and let me know, and I'll be happy to cover those for you. You guys probably know that I have not done anything in my planner in 2 weeks, so I'm going to be at least doing a layout tomorrow. Why have I not done anything in my planner? Because I've been sick and I haven't been doing anything other than trying to recuperate. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do with my little foam piece is I'm going to add the antenna first, and then I can put it onto my base there. Okay, so that is still heating up. Let me go ahead and put the sentiment onto the machine. And I've got enough scraps over here that it's going to be able to be fairly easy to get that one done. Just taking a little bit of my art glitter glue and adding it to the top of my little antennas. Oh, come on. I'm going to hold it for a second to hopefully have it stick. Okay, so I am going to go back up the chat a little bit to see what's going on with something in a class and something that Cordelia is doing. Sherry says, I signed up, looked at the price, but all the stuff you get and considering the number of stamps and dies and foiling stuff you get, I think it's worth it. There's something about registration. Okay, Pink Fresh event. That's what that one was about. I'm thinking I met somebody from Pink Fresh, a couple of people at Pink Fresh at Creativation. I'm gonna have to go back and look at my videos. Is the picture I've got in my face? I want to make. It's kind of where I want to make sure I've got the right company name. But if it is who I think it is, she was saying that she'd like to. I may get her on one of my lives. That's one of the things I'm working on for you guys, is having some of the folks that I met at the show come on to a live stream, and I hope that's something that you guys will like. Oh, I love that. That glitter foam in the center is just perfect. I mean, look. Okay, I'm going to do it this way. You can't see it there. But look at that. I think this is perfect. So you could just use like regular ones. Okay, Cordelia says that would be great. So I think she's responding to my comment about if she has any questions, let me know. Or she may just be saying that she'd love to see some of these folks that I met at Creativation come out. So that is going to be cool. So you're going to have to just keep an eye out. I'm not going to tell you. I do have somebody lined up in a couple of weeks, but I'm not going to tell you yet. Just because. Don't want to jinx it, right? Because things happen. I mean, I was all excited about having Bethany and Elizabeth on, and then what happened? I got sick and had to postpone it, which is one reason why we have not announced what we're doing. Besides the fact I was sick enough where I was feeling like crap enough where I didn't get it mailed out when I planned on, and that sort of thing. Because I did send them some goodies. But you would just have to wait and see. That is going to be coming up on Tuesday night, and it's going to be super, super fun. Okay, as popped up as those are, I'm debating, do I need a little more dimension? Okay, so she was commenting to about my guest crafters. I'm thinking maybe a little foam behind my wings and adhering the butterfly down. That'll give it a little bit more dimension, but should still, I always want it to fit well in a, excuse me. I always want it to fit well and go through the mail. And so far I haven't had any problems with it going through the mail. So now I'm going to just use a piece of the scrap that I had sitting over here to go onto my glimmer machine for that sentiment. And I am again putting it pretty side down. It is off to the side, guys. I'm not going to move everything around again this time. And AC is on, so it decided to fly away. Okay, let's try that again. And then I'm just going to use this. Okay, the AC is blowing it around just enough that this one little tail that is on here, this one little extra, is causing it to fly off. Okay, try that one more time. Putting it down. Come on. It's hot enough it should be it should be flattening out the foil, but it's not wanting to do it. I think it's because that's been rolled up for so long. Okay, so that should be good. If it doesn't go in the right spot, or if the foil's not positioned right, I will just go back over it. I'd rather go back and do it again, and that is perfectly fine. It's just paper. I do like that butterfly. And I think that the glitter just, that was so perfect. Okay, let me go ahead and grab this guy up. It's only going to take a second for this to finish heating up the plate. I've already set the timer, so I'm just waiting on the timer. Hello, Miss Janetta. So I'm hoping that you've been here for a little bit. We've been on since 11 o'clock, so you can always go back and catch the rest of the replay. I shared all of the different fun things that we have got for the new, looking at the chat, not looking at the phone. Okay, so there's my phone. So I already shared all of the fun goodies that I got from Spellbinders for the club kits this month, plus the one that is going to be on its way to me soon, because there's one that I'm ordering. The rest of them they give me as an influencer to play with and share with you guys. And the one card that it was voted on that they wanted me to play with, we were playing with these cute butterfly glimmer plates. This is a glimmer set. This, you can tell, doesn't have any glimmer on it. This one is all stitching and stuff. But we did go ahead and try it out, the other part first. So this was my first attempt. And it's not an attempt. It's where I'm going to be using all of these. They're gorgeous. But this is a foil plate that I also ran it through with the die through the foil. So that means we've got all that yummy foil on the die cut too. Because you can foil with your dies. You just get that very small little line there. So that is gorgeous. This one, all it needs is a body for my butterfly. Then this one is where we used one of the new essential squares, I think that's what it's called. Anyway, one of the new plates that'll do a shaped, and you can use your waist, so I used that on that gorgeous little butterfly. Then I did another one where I foiled it and then I cut it out, and I just realized that I did have it a little bit crooked, but I just noticed that, and you guys probably wouldn't notice. This one, all it needs is a body. This one, of course, are the pieces that I cut the others out of, which means you could use them for other things. So that's cool. And then I did the stitching for this guy. At the moment, I am heating up a sentiment to go on this card, and this is all done and ready for me to send it through. And I'm hoping that I got it all lined up right because my foil did not want to go straight. And I've got enough pieces to do another butterfly if I choose to. Okay. Keep your fingers crossed, guys. I'm really hoping that this is straight and is covered with foil. If it's not, I have to go back and do it over again. Okay, it did shift, but you know what? That's okay, because it did foil my sentiment like I needed it to be. Okay, so now I just need this guy to cut it out. And I think what I'm going to do is cut it out with the foil still on top. Now, why would I want to do that? Because that will give me a shaped, basically a gold with white shaped sentiment that I'll be able to go back and foil onto another piece. And if you missed the part about what this gray stuff is that I've got inside my machine, right now I am using a magic mat, which helps my dies not warp nearly as fast. And you can see I've been using this one for probably a year. I don't know. Been using it a long time. Let's just put it that way. And it does not have any warpage on it. And then I've got this gray one that is the new Ranger medium mat that I'm using. Oh, I got it crooked. Darn it. That's one of the bad things about doing die cutting on my And that also means that this piece is also crooked, because it just cut the top off. Let me see what it looks like on the card. Yeah, I got to redo it. It's one of those things, it's like it bugs me enough that I can't do that. Okay. And that had to do with my die cutting being crooked. It was not where the the foiling was bad. So let's heat that one back up. Let me get another piece of scrap foil. And this will tell me if I've got about the right size. I'll go ahead and cut that off. I usually use my quick cutter, but this is just one little piece. So I'll just go with that. This time I'm going to try putting it down on there as it's heating up and see if it decides to behave. This time it's behaving. I do not get it. Now I need a piece of scrap white. Okay, so while that is doing its thing, so what I did with this one is I stitched each of these inner pieces and then have got them popped up on some foam. And I think what I'm going to do on the front of my card is I'm actually going to pop up the wings of the butterfly a little bit too. So I need a couple more pieces of foam tape and then adhere it down in the center. And I'm just going to add one of the foam squares to close to the tip of each of the wings. And that'll make it so that the center will be down lower than the outside of the wing. So it'll look like the wings are kind of flapping a little bit. Okay, so where do I want to put it though? I'm kind of liking it right there. I keep on putting it there and I kind of like it. But I don't want it to be off the edge because I don't want to cut up any of that yummy eyelet goodness. Come on. So I'm putting some adhesive, some glue down the center, and I'm going to put it on the foam squares too, just to be on the safe side. Because you never know. Sometimes you decide you want to shift it around a little bit. Oh, that's going to be pretty. And now you got a little extra dimension there. And then now I can hit the timer. And I'm going to just put, I'm going to cut out and pop up the other butterfly. I mean the pop up and cut out and pop up the sentiment to go over here. And that is going to be just lovely. Don't know if I want to add any bling or anything to it because I think it's got enough. I love this way this looks. This is so easy. Okay, well, bye, Miss Stasia. You have a wonderful day, honey, and have fun packing. Oh, thank you, Miss Jonetta. Yeah, be sure to go back and double check and see the rest of it because I kind of didn't know what any of the pieces were and I had to figure them out as I went along. But that helped. That will. For one thing, I'm going to be going back and doing a screenshot of that and for my own reference so I know what belongs with what. Because there's so many little pieces and they each go with different parts. I mean, we've got our big butterfly, but then you've got the pieces that go in this piece here and they don't, and then you've also got your another butterfly that is a side of a butterfly. There are two bodies. There's a body here somewhere. Here's the second body. Then you've got stitch pieces for everything. You've got foil pieces for everything. And then you've got these little pieces here for cutting out parts of the inside so that it looks more like a realistic butterfly. You know, kind of how Jim was saying orange and yellow would be good for monarch. Well, this would be good for doing some paper piecing too. So this set is supposed to be a glimmer set, but in my mind it is a stamping and it is a die. No, I'm sorry, not stamping. It is a die cutting and glimmering and paper piecing and stitching. You got all the things in one die set. So I'm kind of glad that we started off this month with this one so that I could show all those different ways to use it. I mean, I basically cut out every way to use this thing. Okay, so this is ready to run through my Platinum 6. And yes, I keep putting the thing on the floor. Okay, let's go ahead and see how this one foiled. I'm assuming it's going to foil fine. I haven't really had any kind of problem with foiling since I got this machine. So I don't know if it is the machine or if I've just gotten better at it. Because if you've watched any of my older videos, you probably saw that I was struggling to get a good foil impression, period. Okay, so that looks good. So now I just need to die cut that out. Excuse me. And again, I'm going to apologize for all of my coughing and my voice not sounding too good because of my sinuses and all that kind of stuff. Because I am still getting over my cold. But every day I am doing a little bit better, which is awesome. So I am taping it in place onto the cardstock so that I've got it lined up right. I'm still using this. I'm not going to take it off. I'm still using the Ranger Media Mat to basically hold everything in place. And it does add just a touch little extra pressure and doesn't damage the thing. That is what I am just so impressed with. It doesn't damage the silicone at all. Okay, So here we go. Let's see if this one's lined up right, because that was definitely my error. And that one is perfect. I am happy with that. Yay! Okay, so sorry about the weirdo looking thing up in the corner. That is where I think my phone just died. So let me turn that piece off. There, because you don't need that anymore. But we've got my You Give Me Butterflies. And since it's dead, let me go ahead and plug it in. Okay. So, oh, that is just too pretty. Oh my goodness. And I think I want it, I'm popping everything up, right? Gotta go ahead and pop this up too. And for that, I'm going to use some of the excess. So when you take your pop dots out or foam squares out, don't throw away the rest of that foam. You can use it. All you got to do is just trim it down. And I didn't trim it down quite enough. I do need a little bit on that little edge there. There we go. And this is a very, very simple design card. I absolutely love this. Okay, well, thank you for saying that, Crystal. Crystal was saying that her voice wasn't the greatest when she did her live yesterday because of her crazy allergies. Understood, absolutely. And hello, Miss Jen. So happy to see you, honey. Okay, so that is going to finish up the card. So before I especially since Jen just dropped in, before I start cleaning all this stuff up, did you guys have any questions? Is there anything else you'd want to see again or have questions about with the new club kits for this month? Since this is the one that we've been working on, I'm going to go ahead and bring that back out and try to start, arranging everything again. So this set, this one is the Glimmer of the Month set, believe it or not, because the only glimmering on this card is done with that is my sentiment. You give me butterflies. The rest of this, we do have a few sentiments, but all that on this one that is actually glimmer is we've got the sentiments, we've got some pieces that go in the butterflies that you don't have to use. So I'm going to try to remember how everything went together. Let's see how that does. I've also got some more stitching pieces that I can do for another butterfly. These are for the side facing. So we've got two butterflies in this set. We've got this big one from the front. And then we've got basically the same size but from the side. And that means we also have two separate bodies for our little guy, and then making sure I'm not missing anything, I've got my antennas that work for both, and then these guys here, these are our glimmer plates for the wings. So first one that I did, I tried doing a foil and cut basically at the same time, and it didn't cut. But look at that lovely foiling. And then in that case, all I did is I added my little foil pieces into the wings before I added the foil. And that cut out, that foiled up all of the pieces, first off the foil pieces and all of the butterfly outlines. So those are super pretty. And then I used one of these guys. This is one of the new, I think they're the essential shapes glimmer sets. So there are 4 different ones: rectangle, square, circle, and oval. And I'm getting the other 3. They should be on their way to me now. But I used that to use my waste foil and created this one, which is super pretty. All it needs is a body also. So I've got 2 more cards basically ready to go. And then of course they wanted stitching. So to do the stitching, these pieces cut the outline and cut the little holes for you to do your stitching. So here's an example of that. And then once you do the stitching part, it goes on top of, let me grab the other one. Yeah, this goes on here. It would go on top of there. And I think that that is just lovely. And this one has got, the side facing one has got a little, I'm thinking you could probably do some of the stitching back and forth and stuff, but you don't have a center hole like what you do with these. The center hole makes it so that they go back and forth like that. So I'm thinking that it's probably not a good idea to use them on these other ones. Plus I love that detail. You could always go, stitch, a line stitch for that, but I like the eyelet look. I absolutely, I'll have to try it the other way too though. So I've got all the pieces for those. So each butterfly has got different options that you can do. You can do foiling everything, reverse foiling, doing just the foiling and then cutting it out and trying to line it up straight, which it turns out I didn't do it straight, but who cares? That's another one that I've got basically got ready to go for another card. And then if you keep these, you can always do a shaker, which I'm thinking about doing that. Or you can do kind of a layer. I mean, that would look kind of cool on a card. Oh, actually, I think that's what I'm going to do on one of these. I do like that. So instead of trimming this down, I am going to basically just put it in the center of one of the die cuts and then add the body, and that is good to go. You could also do the same kind of thing with this one, do the same kind of thing, and have part of it popped up. So you've got a shadow box looks. So there's a lot of different ideas that you could do with just this one. And then I used some of the glitter foam from Spellbinders that they came out with. I think it's out now. I'm not 100% sure. I think I shared it before it was actually supposed to be out. But I used that for the little body on this guy. And I think that is just lovely. And of course you've got all of your pieces to be able to do all of the stitching. So you have the stitching like that. And you don't have to stitch them. You could also use these pieces here. You've got some that cut out the inserts of cut out pieces for doing like paper piecing inside of those little pieces as well. So that's just the glimmer system. We've got tons more things. Most of it has to do with stitching in one way or another, and I am just going to be loving this. So I may be doing a lot of stitching. I may just be using them for that. Like I said, I love that eyelet accent. I just love that eyelet accent. You've seen me do that on some of my other cards, which were like the oval stitch dies that have got that eyelet look. And I love using it without any stitching because they just turn out so pretty. So anyway, I think it's about time for me to let my my voice take a rest and to clean up this mess and try to put everything back together again. And hopefully still have time to work on another card. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye for now. If you haven't already checked them out, I do have some other videos using some Spellbinders products, and I'm going to be leaving a box over here for that. You guys have a wonderful day, and remember, if I can make it, You can too. See you guys tomorrow night. We have a live stream again tomorrow night. Me and Elizabeth doing some Q&A planning. And then on Tuesday night, awesome, awesome, awesome time. We are going to be doing some I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to have Bethany and Elizabeth back on my channel on Tuesday night for some crafting using some goodies that I sent to them. So anyway, check out this playlist. You guys have a wonderful day, and I will chat with you soon. Bye, guys. And thank you, Jim. Thumbs up and subscribe.